Good morning, friends. It's Christine from Christine's Stamping Spot. Thanks for joining me today on January 30th for another Mystery Monday project. So today we are going to look at our new masks that are in the mini catalog. And you can find them here on page 65. These are them. They're called the Butterflies and Flowers Layering Decorative Masks. And there's also some really cute samples using that and some different ways you can use them I'll tell you about a little bit later. So I haven't actually used a lot of masks, to be truthful, in the past, but I saw a project that Kylie Bertucci, she's a phenomenal Australian demonstrator, posted on one of our demonstrator sites recently using these masks for a project. And I thought, I've got to try that. And it's really, it's definitely not hard. It might be a little bit messy and maybe a little bit time consuming, but not really. It's actually pretty quick once you get going. So I'm going to show you the card that Kylie did, and I just switched it up a teeny bit. So this is the card. And I just love how these butterflies are and with the masking. I'm going to show you how we are going to create this. Okay, so supplies you'll need. For this one, I chose Blackberry Bliss as our base. I'm basically following what Kylie did, which I like to do kind of on the first go round. And then a piece of Very Vanilla. So this is 8.5 by 5.5, and this is 5.25 by 4. So we can put our base aside, and we're going to focus on creating our image on the vanilla. So I also like to bring out my silicone mat because part of this is tacking things down and trying to make sure they don't move. So to do that, I'm just using masking tape, but you could use painter's tape if you have it, whatever you feel comfortable with. And I just want to sort of tack down different parts depending on, where we're stamping. So we're gonna just start here at the bottom. And these are, I'm just going to show you quickly the different masks in the package. You get 6. So you've got this one with some really neat florals and then some leaves. And then you've got this one with some more florals here, which is one of the ones we're going to use. I'm going to set that aside. And then this is going to be our butterfly, and there's also a different image of a butterfly and different floral there. We're also going to use this. And then this one, which is more of a sort of brocade kind of idea, which we're also going to use. And this one, kind of like little daisy flowers, which we're also going to use. And then this final sort of leafy, sort of horizontal, vertical pattern. Okay, so you don't have to use all of these. The two, if you just wanted to do it quite simple, you could just use these two, the butterfly and the florals, or the butterfly, and one other one of your choice, whatever you would like to do. Okay, so let me bring back my paper. So the first one we're going to lie down is our butterfly. So you can decide where you would like to put this. I'm going to start with one kind of in the center here. And again, I'm going to tack that down so it doesn't move when you're applying your ink, because you don't want it slipping and sliding everywhere. Otherwise, you're going to get ink everywhere. And what you also want to do is cover up these other sort of, at least a portion of these other images here, because you don't want to accidentally get ink in those as well. I mean, unless you purposely do, that's up to you. But for me, I just want sort of the butterflies there. So I'm just going to cover up these other, at least a portion of these other images, so I don't accidentally get ink in there either. Okay. So that's pretty good. All right, so then I'm going to take, for this butterfly, I'm going to use this mask here. So I'm going to use these flowers over here. And it doesn't matter which side you use. These are sort of plastic, and any sort of ink you get on them, you can just wipe off with a wet cloth or run under the sink or a baby wipe, whatever you have. They just clean off super, super easy. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sort of lay this over the butterfly and deciding where I want to put this image. So I'm going to put it maybe about there. And again, I am going to tape this down so it doesn't move. And I know it looks like a lot of tape and stuff, but it'll be well worth it. I'm just going to cover up maybe this little flower here so I don't accidentally get it. Okay, so then I'm going to use Blackberry Bliss ink and a blending brush. Okay, so let me just move this over a little bit. So you're just going to ink up your blending brush, whatever color you choose, and you're going to go over this mask with the florals and just go over in a circular motion and do it as light or as dark as you like. Okay, and then we're just going to peel off this top one that we just did. So just peel that off, and then we're going to keep inking the background of this butterfly just to fill that in. And if you need more ink, you can. I'm just going to try to use up what's on this brush because I don't necessarily want a dark application at this point because I want the focus to be that mask. Okay, so then what you're going to do is peel off, and there is your first butterfly. Ah, I love it. I think that is just so cool. Okay, so I'm going to add two more. So I'm just going to put one, let's start here at the bottom. So I'm just going to tack the sides down here a little bit. Now you're going to have all kinds of tape all just over the place. So just, the prep is kind of sometimes the most important part, right? Okay, so we have our solid butterfly. So I'm just going to move this up a little bit because I'm working now towards the bottom. So I think I will put this one about, and if it goes off, that's totally fine. It doesn't have to be entirely on. Okay. I'm just going to tack this down here a little bit. Okay. So now I want to switch up my masks. I'm going to decide, I think I will go with this one, this sort of brocade kind of one. So again, you're just going to lay that on top of the first mask. And what Kylie called this technique was actually double masking. So you could just do the single mask, and that's perfectly fine too. But because these butterflies turned out so great, I just wanted to try her double masking technique. So ink up our brush again. Okay. And then we're just going to go over these images here on the top. And again, as light or as dark as you would like. I've covered up enough underneath that it won't accidentally get on another image. Okay, so let's take this off. And then we will just continue brushing. Okay. So just try to get to the edges. Try definitely not to go underneath the mask because that will mess up your pattern. Okay, so let's try to take this one off here. I'm just gonna peel this away, and there's my second one. Okay. Okay, so now we are going to add one more to the top. And this time I'm just going to move this piece here. I'll move it down. See, I did accidentally get a little bit down there. Didn't cover up quite everything, but that's okay. You get the idea. Make sure, you know, to cover up those pieces as best you can where you don't want the ink to go. Okay, so this one I think we will put here. And just sort of tack that down. Just add another piece over here so it doesn't get on this piece of the cardstock there. And I think we're good. All right, so now I'm going to use our third one, which looks like this, kind of the daisy sort of look, and I'm just going to lay that on top and tack this one down. And we'll see how this goes. Okay, so ink up our blending brush. Now, if you wanted to do different colors, you probably could. Different colors on the same back, you know, the same piece of cardstock. You just have to wash your mat or your mask and get a fresh blending brush, and you could probably just do it in another color. So you'd have 3 different or 2 different colors of butterflies, whatever. That would look kind of cool. So again, just in a circular motion. And we're going to peel off the top. Okay. And then we will just sponge over here. And that should be good. So I'm just going to close this so I don't get my hand in it. And peel this off. And ta-da! There's our third butterfly. So you can see I kind of added a little more pressure to some than the others, which wasn't really my intent, but it's okay. It gives them all a little bit of a different look. And so you can peel off your tape, and there you have your images. Is that just not the coolest technique you've ever seen? I think that is amazing. Really, really, really neat. Okay, so now we can put it on our card. So this is going to be a very simple card because I've sort of just focused on the technique. So all we're going to do is mount that on our Blackberry Bliss. Like so. And oh, I guess I could have added my greeting first, but oh, we'll just add that now. Hopefully it will be all right. Okay, so you might want to give that just a teeny bit time to dry before you put that on. But so you can see here, I kind of got a little bit of ink on there, but that's not too bad. Okay, so the greeting, I want to take something from the Special Moments stamp set. This is one of our celebration items. You can get this for free with a $120 purchase. So there are tons of great messages for all occasions in here. So the first question is, which one will fit? You could always mount one on top, I suppose, but I think I will just use just a little hi from me, and I'm gonna stamp that in Memento, I think, just so there's not an overkill of Blackberry Bliss happening. Whoops, missed that part. Yeah, make sure it's inked up properly. Okay, so let's just put this here. Okay, a little bit crooked, but not too bad. And then I'm just going to add a teeny bit of bling. So I'm going to bring out our new iridescent rhinestone basic jewels. Are those just not the shiniest ones you've seen? Wow. So hopefully these will pull out some of the color, and these come in lots of different sizes. I'm not even sure how many are in here. A lot. There are 200, so lots to choose from. So I'll put one there, and maybe here. And you can, you know, mix up the sizes. Maybe 3, or should I put more? I'll start with 3. Later on I can always add more if I want to. And there is your card with that new double, I guess you could call it double masking technique, or mask on mask is what Kylie called it. So a mask on mask, but as I said, you could just, you know, put one image down if you wanted. You don't necessarily have to do the double one on top, but it does definitely enhance those butterflies a little bit. I just love how it turned out. And I was just sort of looking at these masks, and it says here, you can use it on cardstock or fabric or other materials to add color. So you can spritz it using our inks, our ink refills, or glimmer sprays. You could spritz it. So you could maybe, you know, do one of the masks, and then you could use some of our shimmer inks and things to give it some sparkle. You can just sponge it like we did with ink or paint. So if you were doing something on fabric, if you had a fabric paint, you can just trace the images from the masks if you wanted. You can emboss them, emboss using Versamark ink and powder. So you could add your Versamark ink first, sprinkle on your powder, remove the mask, or leave the mask on. I would remove it just because you don't want it to melt because our heat tools are very hot. And just, you could add embossing paste. So if you had some of these more finer ones, like I'll just show you here now that they're all covered in tape, but here you could just add embossing paste through those images and get a different look as well. So really, really cool technique and lots of possibilities with these masks. And I did one other version, same colors, but the only thing was I added an extra matte under here in Petal Pink. So my vanilla was just a teeny bit, like a 1/4 inch smaller than on this one, just to give it a little bit of an extra color. But this one you'll definitely get a little bit more of the butterfly on, but I think this one turned out just as well. So there is your project for today. So I hope you give those decorative masks a try. They are super fun and add a whole lot of different dimension to your cards too. So I have a host code tomorrow is the end of January. Do you believe it? So last day to use the January host code TZYVRSN7. You can use that if you're placing an online order on my website at christineludwig.stampinup.net. You're welcome to use that at checkout. And you can also follow me on Facebook, Pinterest, and my YouTube channel, all known as Christine's Stamping Spot. And I'd love it if you would like my page or subscribe to my channel. Totally free, and it will give you access to a lot more videos and different techniques like this one. So I hope you enjoyed that project, and we will see you all again next week. Have a great week, everyone. Bye for now.